ஓம் நமோ நாராயணாய.
ஸ்ரீராம ஜெயம். கதவிருக்ஷாவின் திருவோணம் திருநாள் நிகழ்ச்சிக்கு உங்கள் எல்லாரையும் வெல்கம் பண்ணுறதுலையும், இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியில் உங்கள் எல்லாரையும் சந்திக்கிறதுக்கான அனுகிரகத்தை பெருமாள் பகவான் கிருஷ்ணர் எனக்கு கொடுத்துருக்கார் அப்படின்னு நினைக்கும் போது ரொம்ப ஆனந்தமாக இருக்குது. ஏன்னா இந்த திருவோணம் திருநாள் நிகழ்ச்சியில் கடந்த 2 மாதமாக திருவோணம், அதாவது ஸ்ரவண நட்சத்திரத்தை அன்னைக்கு பகவத்கீதாலேருந்து ஏதாவது ஒரு ஸ்லோகத்தை சொல்லி அதோடைய விளக்கம், தாத்பரியம், அது எப்படி பெருமாள் நம்மளுக்கு அவ்வளவு அற்புதமாக கொடுத்துருக்கார் அப்படின்றது எல்லாத்தையும் ரொம்ப பியூட்டிஃபுல்லாக எக்ஸ்பிளைன் பண்ணிட்டு வரா ஸ்ரீமதி டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீவித்யா சத்யமூர்த்தி அவர்கள். இன்றைக்கும் ரொம்ப அற்புதமான ஸ்லோகம், பகவத்கீதாவோட 3வது அத்தியாயத்துலேருந்து ரொம்ப விசேஷமான ஸ்லோகம் சொல்லிட்டு அதுக்கான விளக்கம், ஒரு குட்டி கதை எல்லாமே சொல்லி இன்னையோடைய எபிசோடை இன்னும் சிறப்புப்படுத்த போகிறா. வித்தவுட் ஃபர்தர் டிலே நம்ம எல்லாரும் பகவத்கீதாவை எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணி அதோடைய விளக்கத்தையும் நம்ம தெரிஞ்சுக்கலாம்.
Namaste, Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome back everyone. We sincerely hope that you have enjoyed our first 2 sessions and have had an opportunity to ponder over the chosen verses. Let us begin with a brief description of the Gita in general. The first 5 chapters are related to the science of life, to include the concepts of Sankhya, which is a comprehension of the principles of life and art of applying them in life, and Sthita Pragya Lakshana, that is the personification and mastering of the principles of life, and principles of action, that is karma, vikarma, akarma, the execution of karma and yoga and sannyasa as the 2 states of akarma, etc. There's a lot here, and that's why we select a few verses every time so we can go deep into these verses. Today we have chosen a set of verses from the 3rd chapter, or Karma Yoga, and they go as follows. Om Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Shri Krishna Paramatmane Namaha. Srimad Bhagavad Gita Atha Tritiyodyayah Karma Yogaha. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Annat Bhavanti Bhutani Parjanyat Anna Sambhavaha Yajñāt Bhavati Parjanyaha Yajña Karma Samudbhavaha Karma Brahmodbhavam Vidhi Brahmakshara Samudbhavam Tasmat Sarvagatam Brahma Nityam Yajñe Pratishtitam Evam Pravartitam Chakram Nanuvartayati Hayaha Aghayurindriya Ramaha Mogham Partha Sajivati. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Karma Yogo Nama Tritiyodhyayah. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. So the literal meaning of the verses are as follows. All living beings subsist on food. Food is produced by rains. Rains are produced or a result of sacrifice, and sacrifice is born from action. All action comes from Brahman, and Brahman comes from that imperishable, Therefore, the all-pervading Brahman ever rests in sacrifice. He who does not follow here the wheel that is set forth, that is revolving, is of a sinful life, rejoicing in the senses. He lives in vain, O son of Pritha. There are so many beautiful verses in the Bhagavad Gita, the shlokas that give so much knowledge. We chose a few from chapter 3 because of their relevance in our world today. Today we have questions that are being asked, such as, everything I have got, I have earned it and I deserve it. Why should I give back to the community? Or, why should I work hard? Why should I use the resources responsibly? Or, why should I do my duty as a human being? And when children ask, why do I need to get good grades? Why do I need to be honest? Why do I need to follow moral principles? These address the topic of the cosmic wheel of cooperative action. Once again, let us see what the context of these few verses or shlokas are. In the second chapter of Sankhya Yoga, while explaining the science of life, Lord Krishna had introduced the concept of renouncement of the fruit of actions in the verse Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhu ma te sangostva karmani. Here he said that one has a right to perform the prescribed action, but one is not entitled to the fruits of those actions. Never consider that you are the cause of the results of your activities or actions, nor should you be attached to inaction. In the beginning of the third chapter, Arjuna asked Krishna, "O Lord, now you're confusing me with your teachings. You're saying on the one hand that Jnana Yoga is superior to Karma Yoga, but then you're asking me to do this terrible action of fighting the war. Please explain to me about this, because I'm confused and I need to do what I need to do in order to attain the highest." So Krishna started elaborating the details of performing action and how this action can result in bondage or attachment if this is not performed with detachment. He then goes on to describe the beauty of Karma Yoga and also how performing the karma with an attitude of yajna or sacrifice can free us from bondage, thus explaining the cause and effects of action on the individual self. During the later part of the third chapter, he further goes on to explain the larger picture of the action of the person in relation to the community, the society, and thereby the world and universe itself. Here the Lord says that the Prajapati or Creator created the world so that by selfless service and this capacity for service, the world would expand and grow. The sun, the moon, the oceans, and even Mother Earth herself, they all give selflessly for the existence and flourishment of all the living beings. He has explained that those who work with sincerity by giving to the society can benefit from the productivity or beneficence of the gods. However, those who try to gain from the world without any selfless contribution from their end is labeled as a social thief. We need to make every effort to produce more than what we consume and give more than what we take. in order for the society and world to sustain itself. Let's take an example of a dairy farmer who will try to maximize his productivity of milk from the cows to serve the society while simultaneously being conscious of the welfare of those cows, the lower animals, in order to maintain a balance. A karma yogi farmer will not only work so his body is healthy and pure, but his work will also lead to the well-being and prosperity of the society in which he lives. He will not cultivate tobacco or opium to earn more money, as he will link his work to the welfare of the society. Thus, a karma yogi acts in such a way that he is united with the entire universe. Acharya Vinoba Bhave describes in his talks on the Gita on how during the Mahabharata war at Kurukshetra, at the end of the day, all the warriors would go to their camps at sunset to perform their religious rites. But Lord Krishna would spend time lovingly unyoking the horses from the chariot, giving them water, gently rubbing them down, and nursing their wounds. Oh, what lucky animals those were! The Lord found such joy in these actions of service. Thus, the work of a karma yogi in pursuit of swadharma not only keeps his body healthy, his mind pure, and intellect radiant, but in addition, it will be beneficial to the society and community. For me, this is such crucial knowledge, especially in today's world of material greed and excesses, and an existence of pure selfishness without any regard to society, community, nation, and the world around us. With this background, coming to our verses from today, a simplistic explanation of these verses can be taken as the following. All living beings are born out of food and nourishment. Mineral wealth of nourishment can be assimilated into food by the existence of ample rains. Only rains can enable the growth of food, including cattle, and rains come as a result of yajna, or the results of human actions. To the so-called educated or scientific mind, most of this makes sense, except for the final part. How come the rains come as a result of yajna? While this implies or suggests the following of ritualistic Vedic methods, there is a deeper sense to these verses that I believe is essential to be understood for the sustenance and survival of this world. Just as rain is essential for the conversion of mineral raw material into nutritive foods, in any activity for success to take place, there needs to be favorable conditions. Selfless activities or yajna in those fields, when performed, will create those favorable circumstances. In other words, rains for the successful crop of profit or annam to be enjoyed by the entire society. Therefore, only by sacrifice and work put forward can conditions be created such that there can be a communal success that can then be enjoyed by everyone. Finally, and most importantly, we are told that this wheel of action is intimately connected with the Supreme Creator. Without that imperishable Supreme Brahman or universal consciousness, one would not have the power to perform yajna, the right action, or even any action, making it the center of all our undertakings, and to be able to perform action in an honest spirit of dedication. All the members of this world, every member of the animal, mineral, and plant kingdom, instinctively follows the principle of yajna and knowingly or unknowingly contributes to the running of the universal wheel of action. Man and man alone has been allowed the freedom of action to contribute to the harmony. Or is it this freedom to bring about a disturbance or discord in the smooth execution of this natural wheel or cycle by his interference. I invite all of you to ponder on this. In today's world of excesses, instant gratification, assessment of bottom line profits without regard for long term effects, at least in our lives and of our children in this community, we see an individual occupation or preoccupation with their senses and sense organs. Today's children, and for that matter adults, have everything they need and more at their fingertips. There seems to be an obsession or a passion for the individual nourishment or fattening of the senses in the limited recognition that they themselves are nothing more than their body. Most of us think that the privileges we have been fortunate to receive are something that we get as a birthright and do not understand that these privileges are gifts. However, the duties or actions of the humans are in such a way that the people can move from material engrossment to control their desires. Such a sense of entitlement leads to a discordance in the rhythm of this wheel of action due to the selfish actions. Lord Krishna says such a human being who does not live harmoniously in the wheel of action is living in vain. Therefore, it is our duty to contribute to the smooth running of the cosmic mechanism, to follow the principles of yajna, which incidentally all the so-called dumb living creatures other than the so-called smart humans do so instinctively, without any extra effort. However, man, the smartest animal, has a lot to learn in this aspect. When the majority of the people in human society accept their responsibility to live as integral parts of the universal system, a system where all the humans are connected spiritually, emotionally, and intellectually, material prosperity is bountiful and spiritual growth results. These are periods of golden eras in the civilizational history of humanity. Conversely, when this universal system is isolated and behaves irresponsibly towards the cosmic system, then peace and prosperity will decrease. There is a natural reaction, war, and there is degradation of the society. An example that we can all think of is the coronavirus and the other wars that are going on currently. So in conclusion, there is extraordinary power in selfless karma yoga. It blesses both the individual and the society. Every action performed with an attitude of a karma yogi will receive rewards that are far beyond the gross result of that action. A karma yogi will work till the end even though he is happy and content. He or she works with more zest and vigor than an ordinary person. He will work more and consume less, so the society will benefit more. If work is done with the control of the senses, then the rewards from that work will be infinite. Not only will the body remain healthy, but the mind and intellect are purified, wisdom grows, and the sacred ideal will be revealed. He or she will be an inspiration to the society, which in turn, as Krishna later says in the same chapter, Yada charati sreshtaha tattate vetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate. Whatever a great person does, other people do the same. Such leaders inspire society by their example and become beacons who are followed by the people of society. When more and more leaders are in the forefront, the society will also be lifted up in morality, selflessness, and righteousness or dharma. This way, the karma of a karma yogi helps in the magnification of the goodness of society. The Lord Himself gives the example of the great King Janaka, who through karma yoga attained perfection while all the time immersed in performing his royal duties. Even though he was enlightened, he and other saints continued to perform their worldly duties and thus set good examples to the others. I will end by sharing a short story of Raja Janaka. Rishi Vyasa sent his son Shuka for instruction to Raja Janaka. Shuka was surprised and in his pride asked his guru and father how a king could possibly have something to teach this great young Shishya while being surrounded with so much luxury and comfort. When he arrived, the king welcomed him and said, "You have come from a far place. You must be tired. Let's eat and rest for the day. We can discuss further tomorrow." The king took him to the royal dinner table, fed him a variety of foods and pleased his palates. He took him to a spacious room and told him to rest there. After the king left, Shuka bathed in the palatial room and lay down on the luxurious bed. But when he looked up, there was a huge sword hanging from the ceiling, just above the bed, pointed at his neck. As you can guess, Shuka did not sleep a wink all night. The next day, the king met him and asked, "How was the night? I hope you slept well." Shuka replied, "How could I sleep? There was a huge sword hanging above my neck." For which the king replied, "Do you now understand that enlightenment makes you more aware about reality? When one knows for certain that life is temporary and death is certain, how can the pleasures of the world sway him away? How can the worldly duties ever limit his eyes from the supreme goal?" At this, Shuka, in all his humility, fell at the feet of the king and asked for his blessings. Thank you for listening. We are grateful for your attention and look forward to meeting you next time. Please forgive us any mistakes and share your thoughts and feedback in the comments section. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.
தேங்க்யூ ஸோ வெரி மச் ஸ்ரீமதி டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீவித்யா சத்யமூர்த்தி. இந்த பெருமாள் நம்மளுக்காக கொடுத்துருக்கிற விலை மதிக்கப்பட முடியாத ஒரு அற்புதமான விசேஷமான பொக்கிஷம் பகவத்கீதை. பகவான் கிருஷ்ணருடைய அனுக்கிரகம் இருந்தால் மட்டும்தான் இந்த ஸ்லோகங்களை நம்மளால் தெரிஞ்சுக்க முடியும், அதோடைய விளக்கங்களை சுவைக்க முடியும், அந்த சுவையை உணரவும் முடியும். ஸ்ரீமதி டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீவித்யா சத்யமூர்த்தி அவர்கள் மூலியமாக நம்ம எல்லாருக்கும் பெருமாள் இந்த அனுகிரகத்தை மாதம் பண்ணிட்டு வரார். எல்லா மாதமும் இந்த திருவோண நட்சத்திரத்தன்னைக்கு அற்புதமாக நம்மளுக்காக ஸ்லோகத்தையும் சேவிச்சுட்டு அதுக்கான விளக்கங்கள், அதுலேருந்து நம்ம என்னென்னலாம் கற்றுக்க வேண்டிய விஷயங்கள் இருக்குது எல்லாத்தையும் நம்மளுக்கு சொல்லிட்டு வரா டாக்டர் ஸ்ரீவித்யா அவர்கள். அகேன் டுடேஸ் எபிசோட் ஆல்சோ வாஸ் அமேசிங். நம்ம எவ்வளவு விஷயங்கள் தெரிஞ்சுட்டோம். கிவிங் சம்திங் டு தி சொசைட்டி எவ்வளவு முக்கியம், அது லோகக்ஷேமத்துக்காக நம்ம யோசிக்கணுன்றது எவ்வளவு முக்கியமான ஒரு விஷயம். ரைட் ஃப்ரம் த பிகினிங் அந்த ஸ்லோகத்தை சொல்லி அதோடைய டைரக்ட் எக்ஸ்ப்ளனேஷன், கர்ம யோகினா யார், சொசைட்டிக்கு நம்ம கான்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ண வேண்டிய விஷயம் என்ன, செல்ஃப்லெஸ்னஸ், அண்ட் அட் தி எண்ட் ஜனக மகாராஜா கிட்ட சுகபிரம்ம முனிவர் போனது. சுகபிரம்ம முனிவர் எவ்வளோ பெரிய ஞானின்றது நம்ம எல்லாருக்குமே தெரியும். அவரே ஜனக மகாராஜா கிட்ட போயிருக்காருன்னா அது எவ்வளோ பெரிய விஷயம். பகவான் அதை மென்ஷன் பண்ணுறது. இன்னியோட எபிசோடில் எதுவுமே முக்கியம் இல்லைன்னு சொல்லவே முடியாது. அவ்வளவு அற்புதமாக இருந்தது இன்னியோடைய எபிசோட். வி ஆல் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் தி பகவத்கீதா தரோலி அண்ட் ஐம் ஷுர் வியூவர்ஸ் அண்ட் ஆடியன்ஸ் நீங்கள் எல்லாருமே இந்த எபிசோடை ரொம்ப நல்லா எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணியிருப்பீள். இதே மாதிரி எல்லா மாதமும் ஸ்ரவண நட்சத்திரத்தன்னைக்கு ஒரு பகவத்கீதா ஸ்லோகமும் அதுக்கான விளக்கமும் காத்துருக்கு. எல்லாரும் கண்டிப்பாக பாருங்க. அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் உங்கள் கதவிக்ஷா சேனலில் இன்னும் நிறைய நல்ல நிகழ்ச்சிகள் வரப்போகுது. அடுத்த வாரத்துலேருந்து ஸ்ரீராம நவமி உற்சவம், அதாவது ராகவனை போற்றுவோம் 3வது வருஷமாக ஸ்ரீராமச்சந்திரமூர்த்தி உங்கள் கதவிக்ஷா சேனலில் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சியை நம்ம எல்லாரும் சேர்ந்து அந்த ஸ்ரீராம நவமி கொண்டாடுறதுக்கான பாக்கியத்தை கொடுத்துருக்கார். எல்லாரும் கண்டிப்பாக மிஸ் பண்ணாமல் அதையும் பாருங்கோ. மீண்டும் கதவிருக்ஷாவின் ஒரு அற்புதமான நிகழ்ச்சியில் உங்கள் எல்லாரையும் நான் சந்திக்கிறேன். அது வரைக்கும் நமஸ்காரம். ஜெய் ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ணா.